Salam alaikum. Hi, and welcome to Unseen Wounds, a podcast where we talk about the quieter sides of life, the emotional landscapes that are often overlooked but deeply felt. I'm your host, Fatima, and today we are exploring something that, on the surface, seems harmless, even beautiful, the annual celebration of Mother's Day and Father's Day, especially in schools. For many children, these days are joyful, a chance to say thank you, to express love, to feel connected. But for others, these same days are confusing, isolating, and deeply painful. We are going to talk about why, and more importantly, we are going to talk about how we can make these celebrations more compassionate, more inclusive, and more human. Every spring or early summer, classrooms across the world begin their usual ritual, making cards, drawing flowers, writing poems that say best mom ever or my hero dad. And for many children, it's a sweet time. They feel excited to surprise someone who's been there for them, who's loved and supported them. They get to bring something home that brings a smile. But let's pause for a moment and ask, what about the child who doesn't have that person? What about the one who's not living with either parent? What about the one whose relationship with the parent is distant, complicated, or marked by sadness? These are not rare situations. These are real experiences in nearly every classroom. And yet, year after year, our systems treat these celebrations as one size fits all. In doing so, we unintentionally turn what should be a warm moment into something that quietly wounds. Let's imagine what this looks like for a child. It's a sunny Wednesday in May. A second grade classroom is buzzing with excitement. The teacher announces, "Today we are making cards for Mother's Day." There's glue, glitter, construction paper, all the things kids love. But in the back of the room, one child suddenly goes quiet. Their eyes drop to the desk. Maybe their mother isn't in their life. Maybe she passed away. Maybe they don't know where she is. Or maybe being asked to write, "I love you" to someone they feel uncertain about feels strange or impossible. But what choice do they have? They're a child, surrounded by friends, drawing hearts and flowers, and they don't want to be the one who sits out. They don't want to explain something they might not even have the words for yet. So they participate quietly, uncomfortably, often with a sinking feeling they won't forget. That child is not being dramatic. They are not just sensitive. They are navigating a world that, without meaning to, is telling them your reality doesn't belong here. These celebrations aren't harmful because they exist. They're harmful because of how narrowly they are framed. They rely on a single version of family: two parents, always loving, always present, always involved. But that's not the reality for so many children. Some live with grandparents, aunts, or uncles. Some are being raised by older siblings. Others are in foster care or split between households. And many children simply don't have the emotional closeness that's so easily assumed by these holidays. For those children, being asked to celebrate a parent can bring up more confusion than comfort, more discomfort than joy. And the hardest part, they often feel like they can't say anything. Children pick up on social expectations quickly. They know when they're supposed to smile. They know when they're supposed to just go along. And they know when silence feels safer than honesty. We have to ask ourselves, what are we really teaching them when we ignore that? Ask any experienced teacher, and they'll tell you they've seen it. The student who stares blankly at the blank card, the one who needs extra time to finish, not because they're slow, but because they're lost in thought. The child who says, "Can I make this for someone else?" quietly, almost as if they're asking for permission to exist. Teachers care. Many deeply want to do the right thing, but often they don't feel empowered to change the activity or offer alternatives. It's tradition, it's standard, it's in the curriculum. But that's exactly why this conversation matters. Because trauma, emotional pain, doesn't wait for permission. It shows up whether we make space for it or not, and ignoring it only makes it louder. We don't talk about the emotional cost of these happy holidays. We don't talk about how hard it is for a child to feel like they're the only one who doesn't have someone to celebrate. We don't talk about how children internalize messages. If everyone is happy and I'm not, maybe something's wrong with me. And we don't talk about how these experiences follow them long after the glitter is cleaned up, long after the cards are thrown away. They remember feeling left out. They remember having to pretend. They remember feeling invisible. That is a wound, and it happens in silence. So, what do? We don't need to cancel love. We don't need to avoid gratitude. We just need to broaden the frame. What if instead of Mother's Day and Father's Day crafts, schools had a Caregiver's Day or Gratitude Week? What if kids were encouraged to write a card for anyone who has been important in their life, whether that's a parent, a grandparent, a neighbor, a coach, or a family friend? What if we gave children the option to opt out without shame, without having to explain? What if we simply asked before assuming? That's not radical, that's kindness. That's a classroom that sees all children, not just the ones with a picture perfect story. This episode isn't about blame, it's about care. It's about recognizing that traditions must evolve if they're leaving people behind. It's about remembering that childhood is not the same for everyone, and that real inclusion means making space for the quiet stories. To the teachers listening, you have more power than you know. One compassionate change to a classroom activity can make a world of difference. To the parents, let's raise children who are aware that not every friend at school shares their home life, and let's help them be kind in the face of that difference. And to anyone who still feels that sting today, as an adult who was once that child, your feelings are valid. Your story matters. You're not less just because your experience didn't fit the greeting card version of life. This has been Unseen Wounds, and I'm Fatima. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for listening not just with your ears, but with your heart. Let's keep building a world where all children feel seen every day of the year. Thank you.